This happened many years ago, but is still traumatizing and infuriating. It is but one story, but it perfectly encapsulates the family dynamics that have contributed to a lot of mental health struggles. I'm a woman. I have two younger brothers. We're almost exactly 2 years apart. The younger of the two always had something about him that hated me, which I dealt with for 30 years until I finally snapped. I'm not too happy I did that, if only because I should not have had a relationship with him for that long. Anyway, when I was in high school, I didn't fill up the iced tea pitcher before I left for work. This was apparently so enraging that he beat the hell out of me, not just a few hits here or there, but a full-on beating, where he grabbed me by the hair and repeatedly threw my face into the counter and the dishwasher. He was twice my size and so enraged that I couldn't hope to get free and was terrified it wouldn't stop. This was also while he was laughing and calling me horribly disgusting names, saying that I got what I deserved. My ex-boyfriend was just picking me up for work when the beating stopped but was still going off. I should have let him beat Dave up. Anyway, it's my second day on a new job. I clearly can't work. I lied and told my boss that I got into a fight at school because I didn't want there to be an off chance she'd contact my parents or authorities or something, because I knew I'd be the one getting into trouble. So I go home, and in the interim, my parents got in. I don't know what he'd said, but he was trying to get me in trouble. They were mad at me, and he was smirking and laughing as they were yelling. Thankfully, I guess the bruises were starting to show, so they couldn't justify punishing me. They ground him for 2 weeks in his bedroom. The only thing was he couldn't watch TV at night. At no point do my parents make him say anything to me, and at no point does he do so. Maybe it was a week. And when my parents heavily suggested I talk to him, because he just didn't know any better, he didn't mean to, didn't know his own strength, he's too upset to face you. So I did. I talked to him, since I was the oldest and most mature and should always be the bigger person and be understanding, regardless of what I went through. So yeah, it happened forever ago and is just one story. Many similar things happened before and after, but it's certainly memorable and painful. It showed how there was a part of my brother who's always hated me and tried to NDID hurt me. I'm sure me being a girl had a lot to do with this. My parents had this whole boys will be boys mentality, and they kept excusing him as him, not knowing any better because he was the youngest. So he never got punished. Meanwhile, I'm legit nearly a perfect kid, but got in trouble for any tiny thing. I did and was also blamed whenever my brothers did anything wrong. This is why I covered for him when I lied to my boss, because I knew involving anyone else would get me punished. So I had to protect him. I'll never forget the absolute glee he took in hurting me. Being called the names was the worst part. Just hearing your brother call you all sorts of things while laughing because he truly wants to hurt you is just devastating. Because I kept forgiving him like I was taught to do and like I thought I was supposed to do, which only got me years more of this treatment. The physical violence did stop around high school, but the names and the threats were there, culminating, with my friends nearly calling the cops on him since they feared for my safety while I was hiding. I lied and covered again for him. Anyway, it's not really surprising that I have issues. Always having to be the bigger person is basically letting anyone treat you in any horrible way, and you just have to take it. Not surprising I ended up with an abusive ex. For example, really coming to terms with facing how the people you loved were actually abusive can be quite tough. What keeps my anger burning is that, of course, no one else knows any of this, and he just has his narrative out there for everyone, which is that I'm a terrible person and he is wonderful, and because he continues to push that narrative, I feel like I'm still being abused. I might be in a horrible situation now where I have to see him and I'm so scared. But I'm also so angry that if I saw him, I'd want to punch him into the ground.